Hello everyone, it's Christine from London Gifties again, and recently I asked a question in my story, asking if you would like to see any flip throughs of any 2020 planners, because I'm in a kind of a mood of purchasing a couple and having a look through them and making a video about them. So some of you, I think it was Paula, mentioned that they would like to see a video of the Mossery planner. So I'll do just that today. So I have two planners, which is the Mossery 2020 planners weekly, and I have the horizontal and the vertical. I have these also, a couple of them left in my shop. None of these designs are left. These are just flip through copies or copies I'm going to keep for myself. However, there's other designs still available if you're so inclined to be so interested to purchase one. So they're still there. Let's start with the vertical one. So it has this cover that I've bought myself, which is like a protective sleeve. It has an elastic band. It has some info on the little sheet, and it's a bound book, as you can see, within the cover, which is the hardcover anyways, it's a bound book, so you can if you want to next year, you can remove it and you can put a different planner in, so you don't have to. If you like the cover, you can keep the cover and just change the books within. I think they also do sketchbooks and I think notebooks, so you can just interchange them as you please within the covers if you want to keep them. Okay, I'm not the best with explaining. I think you have noticed that, so I do apologize if sometimes what I say doesn't exactly make sense. Again, English is not my first language, and I'm just trying my best, you guys, and I know you know that, so thank you. So the first opening on the inside is the Mossery 2020 planner, and it has just the basic personal info that you put within planners in case, I suppose, your planner gets lost. Me, myself, I never fill these in because my planner rarely leaves the house with me, especially if it's my work planner, but I guess it's useful. And I mean, just like with phone pins and stuff, you never know, you know, might just lose it. I have this glued sheet. The sheet's quite glued to things, so you can't open it very much, but it's just a you know, like a pretty printed page. And now we're going into the book. Shall I just zoom in a little bit? Try to make this very elaborate setup, but I'm just going to zoom right in and ruin the whole frame. So we have the Earth and the rest of the planets. So I guess it's the solar system that they've pictured here, and a little bit of a story. Not going to read that. And then we have these influential people spreads, which is beautifully illustrated, may I say. And it continues. That's very lovely. And then we go on to the first pages that you can start filling in, which is the inspiration board. And we have the inspiration board for films, songs, books, and places. So let's just read one about the books. Try this. Books that spark your imagination. Books that are insightful and relatable to you. Books that change your perspective on life. So I guess it's just things that have inspired you so far to be where you are today, I assume. Books and other media. Continuing with the inspiration board, words to live by. So motivational and inspirational quotes. So that's a page for that here. Role models. Again, a page for that here. And we go into the next spread, which is priorities. And it's neatly divided. I really quite like this division. So we have 1, 2, and 4 smaller ones. So I suppose you would put the big one here, the biggest priority, 2 next ones, and the next ones. And I really like this, to be fair. I think I'm going to use this planner, but the other one, which is the horizontal one for 2020, for some sort of work or project planning, because this is really cool. You can set, as you probably, if you do any planning or such like, you can't put you know, all the tasks is the same importance, because it's simply not. You have to set priorities. That's something I've learned in last couple of years, which is, you know, it's quite ridiculous because I'm approaching 30 and I'm just learning to plan my time. But it is very useful to know that it's one priority, and then you can put two smaller ones and four smaller ones there. I mean, they're all priorities, but even priorities go in a, you know, a sort of a pyramid shape. There's one on top and they follow each other. Not sure if I made myself clear, but I really like this idea, because you can't just have a list of priorities, because all priorities can't be the same priority, and you have to start somewhere and have to put something first. So that is very cool for me. Next one, we go on to the values and beliefs. I suppose this is ethical, and maybe, if you are so inclined, personal and religious, possibly. Next one is 3 things to improve, change, or achieve. So I suppose you could put 3 things for one of each, or 3 things for one of these, or 1 thing from each. So improve, change, and achieve. That is very cool. I find this planner so far to be quite motivational. It's not just a blank book. The next one is a title page for habit tracker, and we have the habit tracker for the whole year. So we got 6 months here, from January to June, and we have, I assume the Sundays are in red, and the rest of it is just here. We have this space to put down, I assume, the habit, the goal, and then the days of the month, and total, and reflection on it. I think this is very thought over, very well thought over, especially with the totaling and reflection, because it keeps you accountable, obviously, to yourself, but still. And then we move on to the habit tracker from July to December with the same sort of setup. We have a nice clear spread, and there's a bit of a lightly blue dotted page. Yeah, it's not picking it up because it's very, very lightly dotted, so you can't probably see from here, but I suppose you can make notes over here, and the same here. So we get a couple of note pages, and then we move on to the title page for 2020, and we start with a yearly 2021, and we go on to 2019 recap. We have all the months from January to December, and we have 3 lines of grid paper for each of the months of the year of 2019, so you can have a reflection time and recap. And then 2020 highlights, I guess these you fill in as you go, or probably yes, as you go, so you have quite a bit of space, the same space for 2020 each month. We go on to the 2020 overview, which is really cool. So this is like the yearly calendar, but you can make some notes on here, and then there's a little calendar for each month. So I suppose you can circle, or any other way, put an accent onto some dates that is planned ahead, or possibly as you go. That's very, very cool. You got grid note page here, just grid. And we have the plan, January 2020. For example, it says, what do you want to achieve this month? What is the purpose of your goals? How are you going to achieve them? Draft out your action plans in detail. I like that. I like this little note thingies guiding me, because that's sometimes what I need, because maybe like other people, many other of you, I have a lot of things going on in my head, and unless I write them down, they just evaporate and I forget them, and there's no particular order how they come into my mind. So it's good to just note it down. Sorry, I just got distracted because there's this cat I've never seen into my back garden, but you know, fair play. It's wild out there. Yeah, so that's very, very useful. Sort of like maybe like a catch-all page for the month of January. A bit of sun came out. I hope this glare does not bother you too much. And then we move on to the monthly view for January. So we got week 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on the side nicely. So you can make a quick weekly plan or quick weekly list on the side here, and then you can move on to each day. I quite like it because the size of it, I think it's like a let me just grab my journal. So it's sort of like a amended A5 size. I should have probably started with that, you know. So the A5 is a tiny bit longer. This way it's pretty much the same. So it's a hybrid A5 size. So these boxes are quite big. I like that because I like to usually put a sticker in there, in some of them or all of them, and a bit of notes accompanying the sticker. So that's actually perfect. Okay, I'm very much excited now to be using this planner, to be fair. Just hyping up myself. And then we move on to the weekly view, which starts on the 30th of December, sorry, because that's the Monday and Tuesday. Still in December, and week 1 from January starts over here. And we have this vertical, I don't know, vertical format. And then we go from 6 a.m. to, I guess, 9, 10, 11 p.m. That's it. One line for, what's that? So 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so 1 line per hour if you're an hourly planner. In my opinion, again, I'm looking at on Instagram, and I envy people's tiny handwriting. But if you are actually planning to do an hourly plan, this line is only about, the line itself is even smaller, but the space here is 3 centimeters if you're pushing it. So, you know, you have to have a tiny handwriting if you're actually going to do the hourly thing. But I guess you have any block bookings or something like that, of that sort, that might work. So yeah, you have the whole week in a spread view. You have a quote here on each week. It's pretty cool. And then you have this side bit with a couple of notes. So you have 3 lines divided, 3 lines, 3 lines, 3 lines. So a couple of 3-liners on the side. And then you have these, sorry, the focusing is, need some coffee today. Excuse me. I hope you can see. It's just some faint lines, check boxes, faint lines, and check boxes here on the bottom, which is quite a lot of space for notes, I suppose, or just master task list for the week. If you don't have, you know, if you can fit your task list within there. And that's how all the weeklies look like. And then we have this week, which is the end of January and the start of February. And after that one, we move on to the next spread, which is the January 2020 review. Awesome. I think I probably might be using this, as I said, as a work planner, so this will be very helpful for me. So you can review the month that you have had. So for example, what went well, what could have been better, what have I achieved, what have I learned? Very good questions, because they're all positive. Don't mention the things that you failed. So awesome for my mindset, because, you know, don't want to be, you know, noting that negative stuff that happened. It could be included, what have I learned? That could definitely encompass the things that have probably not worked out the way you wanted it to. However, at the end of every negative experience, there is something I find that I've learned from it. So very, very positive way to look at it. And then we have the February 2020 plan, just like we had in the start of January. So you can, again, draw your map, write it out, just dump everything that will be for February 2020. And it has the, actually it's quite interesting. I don't know if I've seen this or that I remember that it has the monthly view. So we have the monthly, you know, page, and we have the monthly view, and then we have the weeks of the month. I find it usually that the monthlies are in the beginning of the planner, just after the yearly view. So that is something interesting because it's new. I quite like that. Very refreshing. I think I'm going to use this planner, yeah. And then we have like this for every single month of the year. I'm just going to fast forward to the very end of it. So we end with December review. And we end with the December review. So that is the last page. And it has a little pocket on the back side as well. And this little slit in here. So I suppose you could put, I don't know what you can put in there. What could you put in there? I don't know. There's one in the front as well. Maybe you could put like a little card or something inspirational. Yep, that's very, very cute. So that was the weekly vertical, sorry. And then we're moving on to the I can't say it. Weekly horizontal. It's gonna have a quicker flip through because we have the same sort of things in the beginning. Yeah. There we go. And then we move on to yearly. And same for the recaps and highlights. Yearly. And then we move into January 2020 with starting with the plan. And moving on to the monthly. And oh, this is what I like. I love horizontal layouts because I just can't think vertically. It doesn't work like that. So this, I'm going to be using this one. I think I'll have to wait until December. I think I'm going to start the Gibbon this week because the first week in Gibbon was last week. Last week in real life. Does that make sense? Because it's basically from the end of October or start of November. The Gibbon starts. But anyhow, I'm so excited to do this. So we have this sort of like a white space here. So I assume you could do a doodle. You could make some freehand notes if you don't need any specific, you know, guidelines. There is a dotted line here, so you could use it as a guideline, or you could use it maybe for tasks if you wish so. And then it is followed by these this grid area here. I'm just curious, are they the same size? Yeah, approximately the same size, both of them. I quite like it. And then we have a quote down here. I think it's the same quote, but you know, in a different place because it's a different layout. I really enjoy it. And you have a little section of notes below here. So you have each day, blank space, grid space, and then notes at the bottom for every week. And that is the difference between the vertical and the horizontal. I'm definitely going to be using this one, and I quite like the cover as well. This is like the copy that, you know, you can flip through and take pictures of and stuff like that. So I'm going to be definitely using this one. I quite like it. The paper seems very nice. I haven't tried it yet myself. I think I've heard good things about it, and I'm excited to you know, use the paper. It can't be as bad as some papers I've tried. So yeah, that is the obviously I think I mentioned, but it lays flat, which is very cool because, you know, it's very, I feel like if you would be writing, your hand would feel comfortable either way, if you're right or left-handed. And yeah, one thing about me, I don't like the planners that are coiled or spiral bound or anything, because I feel like they get in the way of my arm, my hand and my arm bit here when I'm trying to write, and it's really annoying. I've tried the Erin Condren, and I think I tried the Filofax and the Kiki K planners, and they just annoy the heck out of me because I feel like I can't use that space, because I can't write there neatly unless my hand can literally lay comfortably. So this is a dream. So I'm going to be starting this. I'm very excited to start this. I think, what's the date today? Yeah, well, I got to wait about 2 months now, but you know, fair play. I'm excited. That's the main thing. And yeah, again, a couple of designs of these are still available. And please, good that I remembered, I wanted to ask you in the comments below, if you want me to review any planners, like if you want me to purchase them, it doesn't have to be something that I would necessarily sell myself. I don't know, maybe some of you want a Hobonichi flip through. I don't know, have you all seen how Hobonichis look from the inside? I think I have the A6 one, and I think I'm gonna purchase obviously the cousin and Beck for next year. If you want to see any flip throughs of like weird obscure planners that you found, a good place to find them, by the way, is amazon.co.jp. At least to the UK, the shipping is reasonably priced and super fast. So I've actually ordered a couple of planners already that I have coming to me that hopefully I'll review by the start of December, because I just want to, put out some more videos and make consistent content, and just, post something that you would be interested as well, guys. Again, it doesn't have to be all about my shop, because obviously I don't just plan just with the stuff that I have in my shop. A lot of times it is, but obviously I have other interests. Yeah, anyways, let me know if there's a planner that you want me to flip through, because I did the Gibbon one. I've done this one now. Yeah, let me know if you have any planners you would like me to flip through. I don't really mind purchasing them. Obviously, I will purchase them myself, and it's not sponsored or anything. Just let me know, what planners would you like me to flip through for 2020? So maybe that could help you make a decision. Is that for me? Is that not for me? And now I'm rambling on way too long. So yeah, well, guys, thank you very much for interacting with my Instagram story and replying to me. And I very much look forward to the next video, and hopefully I'll see you there. And yeah, take care. See you guys.